For more on this issue, we want to bring in one America's chief White House correspondent, Rion. Chanel, so this whole week, it's been a lot of developments, of course, dating back to the original the recommendation against Roger Stone, then the DOJ's developments, Bill Barr last night making comments as well. What are we hearing so far, kind of between the coordination and what the White House is saying regarding this DOJ decision?
Right. So, Alex, the narrative from the media wants this very badly to be a rift between AG Barr and President Trump. But the White House has been very clear that this is not a rift. Stephanie Grisham, the White House press secretary, put out a statement yesterday, and she said that the president has full faith and confidence in Attorney General William Barr to do his job and uphold the law, adding that the president was not bothered by the comments made by Barr in that interview with ABC the other day. So this is a statement that the White House has put out through the press secretary. Now the president himself has weighed in and said that he emphasized a often overlooked line as we talk about this interview between Barr and ABC, and that is Barr emphasized just before he said that the president's tweeting was making his job difficult. Just before he said that, he said, now the president has not asked me or talked with me about any criminal cases. And so the president emphasized that this morning in a tweet, and he says, look, Barr himself says we didn't talk to each other. However, even if I did, as president, I am perfectly in my right to talk to my attorney general about cases that are ongoing. So the message from the White House has simply been there is no rift between Barr and President Trump. And even if President Trump discussed the case, which he did not, according to the White House and Barr, then it would have been in the president's right to do so. No, and
building on that point, too, the DOJ spokeswoman also said that there was no coordination regarding that Stone decision coming from the White House. That was Kerry Kupek, I believe, who said that. So kind of the narrative, too, that it was almost on orders of President Trump. As of right now, the reporting does not suggest that. But also breaking this morning is the idea that acting former FBI Director Andrew McCabe will not be facing any charges. I think that maybe kind of surprised a lot of conservatives. They kind of know that he is admitted to lacking candor as the charge was against him. Do we know why that decision was made or really how the White House is responding to that?
Well, Alex, this is developing news, and it is another thing that we can chalk up to one of the many mysteries that are coming out of the DOJ in the last few hours even. McCabe was charged in an IG report for lying 4 times at least. And so this latest report from the DOJ said, based on the totality of the circumstances and all of the information known to the government at this time, we consider the matter closed. Now, there are some rumors swirling around, none confirmed, that the White House is not very happy about this decision from the DOJ. So at this point, it's risky to speculate as to why the McCabe case has been closed. But the White House certainly is not going to be very happy to hear this.
Right, and of course, this overlaps with John Durham's investigation, which is ongoing. A lot of critics of the whole FISA process, the way that the special counsel investigation was handled, they kind of have a little bit more hope that maybe John Durham's investigation will have a little bit more teeth than at least the Inspector General investigation that still found wrongdoing, but didn't kind of levy charges the way against those individuals, the way that some of the critics would have liked. But kind of going on the DOJ type of decisions, it's been a busy 24 hours, I guess, for the DOJ, because now we're seeing reporting that Attorney General Bill Barr is kind of looking to review some of the decisions that were made in the special counsel investigation, primarily reviewing the case of General Michael Flynn. That's something that, of course, a lot of critics have said was not handled properly. The lawyers have come out and said as well that they didn't like the way that the Flynn case was going. Do we know anything new about that?
Well, we know that the DOJ has assigned a special prosecutor on the outside, and this may be because AG Barr is interested in making sure that optics are not going to interfere with cases that are ongoing. So the outside prosecutor that has been assigned to General Flynn's case is Jeff Jensen. He's a U.S. attorney out of the Eastern District of Missouri. He has been assigned this case. At this point, that's all we know, and that's all we can report on because because obviously the DOJ is dealing with a lot of narratives and it's being assaulted on pretty much all fronts. But as far as the Flynn case is concerned, we simply have an outside prosecutor assigned, and this may be because of optics. It may be for other reasons. We'll have developing stories coming out of that in the next few days.
Yeah, I mean, you've been busy this week, a lot of moving parts. Chanel, Rion, fantastic job as always. Enjoy your weekend this weekend, Chanel.